So the next step on our little tour around is checking on the birds. I did decide on kind of a breeding program for my Muscovies. Show you the ones I'm keeping and explain why. But that right there is my all-white drake. Isn't he pretty? And then that one that's trying to walk away, right there, that guy is my other breeding drake. And those are the girls. For the most part. And remember how the Silky finally hatched out babies? Well, she's got 2 left. See if I can get a picture of them. The one that's a little barred rock, I think it's straight barred rock, or half barred rock, half Silky. This thing is tiny and fluffy as all get out. But look how fluffy that one is. And then the little turkin baby. On the chicken coop, we did add another roost that goes all the way across. Mostly for the turkeys, even though right now it's the hens that are on it. We did get galvanized roofing, so it is a true covered shed instead of just a temporary fix. So looks really nice. The grape is going crazy. Let's go take a look at that guy. But my grapevine is doing really good. It does have some grape clusters on it. They're not quite ready to eat yet. And then this poor window box. I still have a hen that just refuses to sleep anywhere but there. This one's still kind of sad. But my foxgloves have run their course for the most part and got trimmed back. Little barnyard shot. But this shed, the addition is almost complete. So Ian came over today and helped me get where those pieces of wood are caulked to keep the insects out so we can start bringing everything in. But nice window. And then we have that window there. And yes, the floor is red. But they had this deck stain waterproofing at work. It's pretty close to the barn red, which is the color we use all over. And it was $9. I'm like, yeah, it's gonna get painted red. But you gotta look at this goose. Betty, what have you been doing? And there's Al. Not quite as muddy. Oh, but Roro's got a muddy beak too. Over there, playing where I had the sprinkler going earlier. So in this window box I just did a quick of the oregano and thyme planted in the Montana potting mix, which to me just looks like soil. So, but it was just to get something in here so it didn't look unfinished, as opposed to the bed here. So this fall I'll be getting this dug up. I'm going to plant more foxgloves in it. And then, because there's 3 of the perennial sunflowers here, the one closest to the door, I'm going to pull out and put right here in the garden, or in the corner of this bed, to grow up. Because he's been pruned back, but he blocks the door to the greenhouse. This little mess here, there is, believe it or not, if you remember, I've got Mad Hatter pepper in there. But that was before the marigolds and petunias took over. The rhubarb looks a little dry. These little sunflowers over in this corner. My little fig tree is not super tall yet, but it's got a lot of growth on him. That whiskey barrel that has got my irises and my clematis in, this fall I'm going to be completely digging out, redoing the soil and replanting everything in there, minus the grass. And Chickenbach evidently needs camera time. You say hi, Chickenbach? No? But the perennial sunflowers. And the other day, Darlene came over and helped me separate the Muscovies, because a bunch of them are for sale. So the boys are, because I have more of them, are in the bigger area with the pond, and the girls are on the smaller side. So, got all my boys. And guess what? Another sunflower. And my girls over here have the sprinkler going, and they're now playing in mud. Kind of another angle. See that cinder block? Got a funny story. I'm over there sitting on the deck, 3 mornings ago? And, or no, it was in the evening. We're like, how did Ro get out? He's out with the turkeys because they just fly over the gate. We're like, oh, well, that's weird. So the next morning, I'm sitting on the deck, having my cup of coffee, and not only was Ro out, but he was standing right there underneath the gong. And when I went to try to get him, he jumped into the koi pond. Even though David John laughed, I'm sure he didn't think it was too funny. So, kind of paying attention to where he was coming, how he was getting out. And there's a little bit of a dip right there that he's just squeezed himself out of. The bog is a tangled mess. But I do have, I see, at least one cattail flower. Got a couple hot dogs up there. Got another shot of the garden. So, not sure where I'm at in the frame. So the flock is a little different with having the girls and the boy Muscovies that are for sale over in those other two pens. So, but the ones I'm keeping are out here with the chickens and the geese, so I'm going to get on to feeding them their grain and we'll continue with the tour of the place. This one radio station I listen to in the mornings if I have an early shift and I'm going in, they were doing the, okay, you can finally have someone come over to your house, but you can only clean one area of your house. What would it be? And a lot of the typical responses was the kitchen, the living room, the bathroom. My instant response was, I need to spray the chicken run because that's one of the places everyone that comes over wants to come up and see. So get on with cleanup. So a month ago when we were putting the tin on the roof, there was a hive of like a small bumblebee. I was going to show you guys. Normally I can tap on and hear them, but I don't hear anything, so this is either going to be very anticlimactic or interesting. So I'm just going to open this and see what is in there. Don't see anything but an old bird's nest. But it needed to be cleaned out anyway, so don't see anything. They must have just been in there for a couple days and that was it. Kind of disappointed. So, as I said in my last video, my zucchinis are covered in the powdery mildew. Some of them are starting to succumb to it and not putting off any more flowers or fruit. So, gonna go through and pull those out. These aren't going to be good for composting because of the powdery mildew, so they'll go straight onto the burn pile, and then this fall, once it starts raining, we'll burn them up. But get on to getting this cleaned up. Yeah, like this one had a little bit of new growth, but I don't think it's going to be enough to make it worth keeping. since there was a lot more that I'm pulling out than I thought, I decided to cheat. Instead of my little red wagon, which would be a whole bunch of trips, I went and got the lawn tractor and the big wagon. And I am going to go through and clean the cucumbers and stuff off that trellis. Since they're starting to go anyways, and no sense in putting off for tomorrow what I can get done today. So gonna get this cleaned up and get it mowed and show you guys what it looks like, and then we'll go check out the greenhouse. Well, I kind of oopsed when I was cleaning off that one cattle panel, but I got it mowed, got it cleaned up. What I oopsed on was accidentally on the flat bore and the skitty squash cut the main leader. But I got the walkways mowed, and that panel now looks empty, but it will give this acorn a little more of a chance. And then I've got those two spaghetti squashes over there, but this is all cleaned up from what it was. So let's go up and take a look at the greenhouse. And I did give the girls some grass, and they're kind of pecking at it. And the boys the other bag, and doesn't look like they've touched it, but right now they're busy swimming in their swimming pool. So let's go in and take a look at the greenhouse. So on the table I've got my little ivy starts doing good. Got my thyme and oregano. Got a dish of chive seeds and cilantro seeds right here. Over here got a couple mini bell peppers, and then my Mad Hatters. Craig's Grandes, as you see, not doing that great. The Sugar Rush Reds, not as good as out in the, not as good as out in the inside or the raised bed garden, but they've got lots of fruit on them. My red bells look more like chocolate bells. Over here I've got some bullnose peppers, another Mad Hatter, the black Hungarian, and I have been picking heavily from that one. And then we go to my Romas, which I got some that are about ready to go. Not as impressed this year with the, sorry, stay in the screen. Not as impressed this year with how my tomatoes are doing in the greenhouse. Part of it is I knew I needed to really amend or replace the soil that they're potted in. Time just got away from me, and I just needed to get them in the pots. So part of that is my bad. Part of it is the planet shift, weather shift, where we're a lot hotter for longer than we normally are. So we did get some commercial grade greenhouse fabric, shade fabric, that next year we'll be putting on the greenhouse probably relatively early. because these guys started to bloom and then it just got too hot and their blossoms just stopped, all wilted up. So not uber impressed, but it's okay because we are going to be doing a remodeling in here, and these guys would have to come down probably earlier than later. And I have a Valkyrie in a row and a chicken checking up on me. But tomatoes go clear up to there. They are starting to blossom again. So I may get a late flush of fruit. Cherries, the black cherries seem to be doing between the black cherries and the Roma tomatoes. Those ones seem to be doing the best in here. But like I said, should have fixed the soil issue. Definitely will be doing that next year. Let's go out and take a look out here to the left, and then we'll walk down and check up on the hop vines. Oh, and David John goes, sorry, you guys are in the sun. What do you have growing on your greenhouse floor? Let me show you what I have growing. So I have down here, get where it can focus, I have got petunias like crazy, a foxglove, more foxgloves and petunias, a tomato, petunias, and then over here right at the main entrance, more petunias, and my favorite friend, hogweed. Hi guys. But out here, my rhubarb was doing really good, and I watered it heavily yesterday, but it's looking very sad. And that may look like a science crazy, or a crazy science experiment. But in reality, well, I guess it is a crazy science experiment. I got some yellow plums from the coast of Washington, and I'm gonna see if I can get them to go. So it's one of those, they were really soft when I got them, so I'm just letting them naturally rot, and then I'll plant them into containers and maybe get some plum trees going. But I have this little turkin eating my sunflower through the fence. But my fig, right down there, is getting, he didn't get uber tall, but got nice and full this year, even though he did get a little late frost on him. Okay, let's shut this door. And I can't remember on the first part of this walk if I showed you this planter, so if I did, you just get a second shot of it. But this is the one right outside the greenhouse and Muscovy pen. There is 2 Mad Hatters somewhere in there, and my jasmine vine. Perennial sunflowers. But the landscape fabric, or not landscape, the shade cloth we got is this nice commercial grade heavy duty stuff. So that really should help the greenhouse next summer won't do any good for this year. But with this heat and everything, everything's just getting hot and tired, including my sunflowers. As you see, they're starting to fall over a little bit, so the chickens are saying fair game. But let's take a walk down, take a little look at the koi pond and the hop vines. And then I'll show you something else I did getting prepared for fall coming, because it is, even though it feels uber hot right now, in the evenings it completely chills out and we know fall is coming. But I need to get that corner cleaned out. The chickens have kind of gone and eaten the Monardia. And then I got some dead leaves in there to clean up. But all my fishies. And over here is my, which one is this one? This is my Centennial hop and the hop trellis that I made for it. My sad little Shasta daisy. My Willamette that's not doing that hot. Plus the fact that the chickens have decided to start pecking it. But I do have all the wood and all the bits and pieces for making the trellis like I made for the other two. We'll be showing you guys that. Get off of me, bee. I just haven't got it made yet because, as you see, it's not a major rush. They still all have to get painted, but that will be this fall once they die back and I can take the trellises into the garage where I can paint them. The Faltspirea, some mint, and then this is the Cascade hop. And he really liked getting onto his trellis. So I have the little maple tree and mint in this pot. Still not sure what to do there. David John suggested doing raspberries since we have all those raspberry starts. But I know the Muscovies and everyone else will eat the raspberries, so I'm trying to think of something that is a little lower maintenance than the raspberries. But let's go up and I'll show you what I did with my tomato plants yesterday. And there's Brad and Angelo. So, because fall is definitely in the air, I have went through and topped all of my tomato plants, removed a bunch of vegetation just so the sun will get on the fruit, and because they don't have any top growth anymore, it will force them to ripen the fruit. Because Tuesday I picked 20 pounds of tomatoes, and then Wednesday morning picked 10 pounds, and Thursday I picked 15 pounds of tomatoes. Could probably go through and get some more, but show you what the walls look like. So this one right here was kind of given a little grace on trimming because of the cucamelon. So that will be the science experiment to see if these guys ripen just as fast or slower than these guys here that have had all their vegetation removed. And as you can see here, got all of those tomatoes that you really couldn't see before. Just completely loaded. And in the last video, this was the big one I was showing you. It's blushing and looking so pretty. But all of these cherries, look at this massive cluster. I mean, it's several clusters, but that's just amazing. And if you remember, the sweetie was just this big old thing of green growth that you couldn't see anything. And now you can see it. You can see all of the pretty fruit that's coming to ripe. Water that guy. But that pretty much gets you caught up on where we're at and where the garden's at, where the animals are at. So this is where I'm going to end today's video. I hope you all have a good day and a good week. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. And until next time, bye.